to the sound go back and forth. Yeah, over and over and over and over.
Oh my gosh.
Hello, everybody. How are you? This is
Hello,
the Justin
friends and
Jones
brothers.
Show. I'm joined with Dennis Yates today. Crap.
This is the Justin Jones would be nothing without the Initiates show.
Mm,
That's what this is.
mm, 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 mm. Okay. How is
With all the
everybody?
egos in our grand jurisdiction, I'm allowed to have a little.
Yeah, I guess it's
Wait,
a drop of the bucket compared to what we've been dealing with.
a drop in the bucket. Yep.
Yep.
How is everybody tonight? So, what's been going on in your world this week?
My world?
What has absolutely shocked and awed you?
Nothing. Everything's great. I hear great things out of Waco. I think everything is just, it's all taking care of itself. Everything is being resolved with no issues at all. So I'm excited. Very excited. Why? Did something happen that I don't know about?
I can't wait to go to Waco and see such a smooth weekend. Have such a smooth grand annual communication.
Yeah, yeah. I tried calling Grand Secretary's office on Friday, but no one answered, so that was kind of weird. But
Oh man, that's awkward.
yeah, it's very awkward. But other than that, everything's great. We got
Yeah,
so
after about 10:30, that we didn't. It's like they went on a Christmas break or something.
maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was Christmas break. We got some new faces in chat. We got Roland Bonnet. Good afternoon, and James. James, I'm going to just butcher that name. It looks like it says Lineweber, but I'm not sure. But welcome, James. Welcome,
Welcome.
Roland. Other than that, we got David Lawson and Devin McLean. Apparently, Devin wrote a blog post I haven't seen yet, so that's interesting. And Trenton Tupin. Sorry, Trenton. Trenton's here too.
All right,
So
all everybody friends. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them.
many of them.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good turnout.
So the big thing of the week was the removal of our grand secretary from his seat in office.
Why they get him a new seat or
However,
something?
no, they just took away the one he had.
Oh, so he has a stand now.
And what's really funny is he's still the grand secretary. He was told he's still the grand secretary.
So then what? That who told? Okay, I'm confused then. So what happened?
I know it is confusing, isn't it?
Was he? Was he removed from his position? But he still has his position.
Well, that's what's so awkward. It's just so awkward. It's flexing.
You can't
I'm
just
vexed.
remove someone that was duly constitutionally elected and installed just
Elected?
because
I know.
you want to.
That's right. That's
Hello,
what,
Tobias.
that's what's vexing me.
Yeah.
Because that's actually the truth. And so without any real grounds, that would be a hostile act. So we'll have to see what happens next because we don't know what has happened. We just know that there's a lot of rumors going throughout Texas that are not good for our grand officers.
Mm.
It's crazy.
Hmm.
Crazy.
Well, I'm in favor of that right now.
It's just crazy talk. That's all it is. Just crazy talk.
Crazy talk because crazy people doing crazy things makes people
Yep,
talk crazy.
yep. And what's even more crazy is I didn't instigate any of it. So
This book just writes
Wow.
itself.
right. It's an AI novel.
Yeah, yeah. Just,
We
Trenton,
typed in conspiracy and it just happened on its own.
yeah, Trenton says he met Justin at the family days at the Royal Arch retirement home, and he seems like a great guy. Justin Duty is a fantastic guy, and
He is.
I've
He
had the
really
privilege
is.
of
He's genuine.
spending time with him. He's come to one of my lodges before and conferred degrees. He's just a great guy. I love Justin, and he's a great grand secretary. And
Yes. He's done more for the Grand Secretary's office than anyone else in the past 30 years.
you seem to have
Now,
something
and-
for
and
going after
granted,
good
it's-
guys. Yeah, I agree.
Granted, it's not he's not the only one. I mean, there's a team. There really is. But they work so well together. And they did so much together. And But being a leader that gets the troops excited to do something, that's hard to find.
Hmm.
That's hard to find. Do you feel excited this year?
Oh, I haven't felt excited since Brad Billings was uninstalled.
Right, right. It's like the wind just got sucked out of the room. It's like the air just got sucked out of the room.
Yeah, a whole lot of
But
suck.
it's hard to find leaders like that really inspire people and really love to just do good for people.
Well, I always said I feel bad for anyone that had to follow Brad Billings because it's a lot to big shoes to fill, right? That's assuming you're trying to do what's best for the fraternity and you want to do a good job and have a positive legacy to leave behind. That is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Or you could just go the complete opposite direction and just Skeletor the whole freaking thing. Um, I mean, if you can't
Well,
be good, be bad.
right? I got to tell you, man, with the momentum that was created last year, it could have rolled into something great. It really could have.
Yeah.
It just flabbergasted me because the momentum was there. All that had to be done is just keep on trucking. And the next 5 grandmasters would have had great years after last year because so much was done and everybody was so excited to be a part of Freemasonry and to show up to the events and and represent our fraternity and yeah, they could have just rode the wave, man.
Could have.
Just rode the wave.
Tobias, we're not streaming more often. We always do it on Sundays unless like one of us are sick or something. And so that's why we're streaming on Wednesday because Dennis wasn't feeling great last Sunday. So we just pushed everything back. So that's why we did that. So.
Yeah, I had a rough week.
Oh yeah?
That's for sure.
Because you're back or what?
I can touch my skin and it hurts. I'm all the way like radiating through my skin. I'm just in pain.
Sorry.
But oh well.
How'd your presentation go?
That's what it is. Man, it was awesome. And lo and behold, Chip Green and George Moxley showed up and were there to listen to it as well.
Is that local for them?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. But it's just south of Temple, up in Holland, Texas, and so it could have been. It could have been. It's right centralized in Texas, but I know George lives in Austin. Chip, I'm not really sure where he lives. So yeah, it would be a pretty quick drive for Austin going up there.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
But yeah, it was an awesome presentation and it was well received. And in fact, some of the brothers there asked for copies of the presentation so that they could read through it some more. Nice.
That's good. I'm proud of you. Well done.
Yeah, that's always exciting when you get people excited.
Mm-hmm.
That's always exciting. And and that was just like the other ones. I wrote it specifically for that lodge, and they really enjoyed it. But really, they didn't need that lodge. Man, I felt so warm in that lodge from the minute I can't remember. I don't know if it's called Zern Lodge or Zerny Lodge.
Because they got a good heater.
Like no, heating system? From the brotherly love.
Oh, got you.
Yes. I mean, these brothers. When I walked in, I felt like I was just a part of them. That's and good. As you should feel. Even though they have uniform shirts with their lodge insignia and all that kind of stuff on. Mm-hmm. And I was wearing my 3-piece like I always do with my bow tie. Mm-hmm. Nobody batted an eye. Everybody was excited to be there and see each other, and it was just a great time.
So I was really surprised because I saw where Zerny Lodge, they posted pictures from the night. And I was looking through the pictures, and I was like, that looks like the back of Dennis's head. And then I looked at the group picture, and it's like, but I don't see Dennis anywhere. And then I read through it, like, yeah, Dennis came and talked. I was like, well, they got a good picture of the back of your head, Dennis.
Well, I had to leave right away because we had a capping ceremony down in Corpus. We capped 3 of our new Masters of the Royal Secret for the Scottish Rite. And so as soon as I finished my presentation, I thanked everybody and gave the sign, left, and drove all the way down to Corpus
You went from
Holland.
Temple, basically, to
Yes,
Corpus.
Corpus. Yes.
Dang, man.
Yeah. And the night before, I presented for my A&D council.
Hmm.
So I went to San Antonio and then drove to um, Pflugerville, and I stayed in a hotel there overnight, so I would only have an hour drive to Holland,
Yeah.
and then immediately drove down to Corpus, and we had a great capping ceremony and dinner afterwards, and it was a good time.
Nice. Well, that's good.
But yeah,
good.
yeah, it's that's what it is to be a road warrior. That's for sure.
Um, David Lawson made a comment about all the stuff going on in Waco. He says, "Can't wait to see how it ends." There's only a few ways it could end. Two, maybe three, as far as I see.
I can't wait to see how it starts.
Yeah, I don't think it's started yet.
Yeah,
It's gonna be as outrageous as things have been. I don't put anything past anybody in January. Just outrageous actions.
right.
It's sometimes you got to bring the water to a boil before you can really get what you want, though. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. It's going to boil January, and it's going
Right.
to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I see a lot of-
We'll be talking about January all for all next year too, but probably for different reasons. I hope.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and to be honest, if it goes the way that I would like to see it go, then I wouldn't want to talk about it anymore. I would just want to bask in the sun, right?
Yeah.
Bask in the light.
Speaking of
But-
which, go ahead.
I do want to make this point, though. I've seen on all the social media out there, and you see a lot of brothers that are, doing the popcorn gifs and all that kind of stuff, and that's not what we need. We don't need spectators. We need people to show up and do what's right for our grand jurisdiction. We don't need anybody just to sit back and watch. We need people that care about their fraternity to show up and put in the votes, because that's where true democracy works itself out, and that's when the truth in the Grand West lies.
So I've come to the
If we just
conclusion. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
If we just show up to be neutral, we're not doing anybody any good, especially not ourselves. If there's anybody that doesn't show up to, unless they have a really good reason, right? If you have to work, if you have to do whatever, I get it. It's not easy for everybody. But if you just aren't showing up, then I don't want to hear you bitching about anything that happens going forward. Ever. It's just like the polls. If you don't want somebody elected to president, you got to get in there and vote. And you got to get everybody in there that to vote.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it takes. That's the only thing that's going to get what you want in a democracy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm off my soapbox.
No, you're good. I was going to say about the same thing. Like if you're watching this, or if you're on the fence about going, you need to go. You need to be there. You need to pre-register, because it's gonna. If everyone's just waiting to do it that day, it's already a long line on a normal Grand Lodge. I mean, you're going out the door.
You won't get in.
You won't get in. You need to pre-register and do it now.
Yeah.
And you need to be there, and you need to talk to your lodges and tell your lodges, all the past masters, you need to be there. You need to show. You need to vote with your feet, and make it known that these kind of things are not acceptable. I would also say that I've reached a conclusion that there are certain people in Texas Freemasonry that they don't want Masons in the fraternity. They want members, because members don't go to Grand Lodge. Members don't complain.
They're easier to control.
They're easy to control. You let them do their fish fries, and they keep it local, and they never cause you any trouble. And then you could be in charge of whatever you need to do to make yourself feel good about it. And they're not gonna. You could do any kind of shenanigans you want, and no one's gonna really bat an eye, because they're all just a bunch of members. And all you have to do is push for more members. Get your members to get more members. Keep growing so you can feed the beast, right? But they don't want Masons, right? They don't want actual Masons. And I'm using the Nagy terminology here, right? They don't want people that are actually reading books, learning, educating, and trying to raise other Masons. Because Masons have a real problem with this mindless approach that's going on. Masons are educated. Masons look at shenanigans and raise their eyebrow, and then they show up in numbers and change things. They don't want Masons in the organization. They want members, because members are quiet, easy little sheep that are easy to herd. Masons are not little sheep.
That's the whole reason we were founded. That's the whole reason that we came about in this world, was to combat exactly what's happening right now.
Yeah.
That's what we were put on this earth to do. And if you don't think that that's your job as a Mason, if you don't think that it's your job to hold others accountable, then you're just a member. Yeah. I'm sorry. You're just a member.
Membership's easy. Yeah, David says it takes more effort, of course, with Masons instead of members, like what you're saying. Yeah, it's more effort for everybody. Creating Masons is more effort. It's intentional. You can't just accidentally create Masons. It's work. And that means, and furthermore, because it's work, because not every person is fit to be a Mason, it's a slower process. It's more quality than quantity. Quantity doesn't pay the bills. At least at the grand level, when you're charging $27.50 a year. Numbers pay the bills. They want members. Masons, lodges are shifting towards wanting to make Masons. And Masons, these lodges that are shifting towards quality, these lodges that are shifting towards getting away from drama and meeting upon the level, or trying to meet upon the level and raise the bar at their lodge, are now looking at Grand Lodge. And now, who knows how long this stuff's actually going on? Maybe it's been going on longer than we ever thought. Maybe it's just now that we're actually looking.
It's been going on for years. The thing is that we're finally at a point to where we're getting back to the renaissance of education, and we're realizing that the things that are happening are wrong, and they shouldn't be happening. That's what's happening. That, in my opinion.
No, I agree. That's what it is. And furthermore, we got people that are making memes now. We have people that are talking on Facebook. We have anonymous anonymous websites now that present all this information. And this is not stuff that we had before, right? It's either this new age of Masonic journalism is going to shut down this nonsense, or they're going to do everything they can to shut down the Masonic journalism, and it's not going to fly.
Right.
You can't keep doing things the way you did in 1980 anymore. It's not acceptable. We are taking back our fraternity. We are taking back Freemasonry. We're getting rid of this service club mentality and going back to our roots, to what we were. And you're either on board or go join the Lions Club, because we're not having this anymore. It's done.
Right. Well, the presentation that I gave, I truly believe that education is the cure to all things, and especially the cure to fear. People, you can control a crowd. One person can control a crowd with fear, and it's really the most important emotion that we have that controls us, because our mind actually is trying to protect ourselves from things that it fears. So the better we educate ourselves, the less fear we take on. So in my presentation, the whole discussion was based on removing fear through education, and then that way we can actually get to the business of understanding and relating to and with God, so that we know how to do the right thing, because He's actually living in us, instead of just some literal thing that we put up in the sky. In fact, if any of our brothers,
spaghetti monster,
right? If any of our brothers that I can verify personally want a copy of it, I'll be happy to send it to you. Just let me know.
Love it.
Because I really was proud of it. In fact, I texted my mentors after, and I said, "Is it arrogant to give yourself chills when you're giving a presentation.
So
I actually give myself chills at the end of it.
Devin says, "I joined for the experiences through hard work, rites of passage, and rich history, not some cheap, low-effort organization who has strayed from their roots. And it's really up to the individual now to be the change because it seems like nobody's going to do it for us. But it seems
Right.
those who speak and promote change end up getting stricken down. There are so many. There's not going to be a Masonic Messiah that's going to come and save Texas Freemasonry, if that's what
Right.
you mean. It comes down to each of us. And I use that term, and I've said it before because I think there's a lot of lodges that are doing the same thing. There's a lot of lodges who are just showing up to show up. They're not doing anything. They're just showing up so they don't lose their charter. And I guess they're waiting one day for some Masonic Messiah to join up and stir up a whole bunch of excitement and turn everything around. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen locally. It's not going to happen at state level, right? And so if let's be honest, if Brad Billings couldn't fix everything, nobody can. He had
He created a lot of excitement.
He created a lot of excitement, and he did a lot of progress his year. But I mean, if Brad Billings couldn't fix everything, no one can. It's up to us as individuals.
And that's the thing. His whole team, and I was thinking about this earlier. The whole team are very active Masons. They're the ones you're seeing at all the events, putting up all the things, making everything happen, and they're very loved by those around them. And it takes people like that to make the changes in our local level, because ultimately, those brothers that are up there in Grand Lodge, they started right down here where we are, and somehow they thought it was okay to act that way the whole time through their journey until they got to here, and then they continued it in full force. Mm-hmm. So apparently they didn't learn the same things that we learned as we were going through, because the way that they're doing things is a lot different from the way I learned it.
Yep.
I don't know. Call me silly. I don't know.
Well, if they learned it, sounds like they didn't. They may have memorized it. They may have memorized it. Maybe.
Right. That was part of my talk too.
Nice. David Loss would like a copy of that, by the way.
Sure, you got it. I'll do it here in just a little bit. Yeah, the major thing that we have to remember, though, is that we are on an upward trend of some very fine brothers coming into the fraternity, and the ones that get it are very active and making themselves available to support the brothers who are looking for that. Justin and I aren't the only guys that care enough to get out there and give everybody a little bit of refreshing talk to let you know that you're not alone. We're not the only ones. Mm-hmm. We're part of bigger circles that really care about this fraternity. And fortunately, we're in a time that it's very apparent who they are. So it's not hard to find them. But if you can't find them, just let us know. We know who they are.
Yeah. I just last weekend taught a mutual friend of mine and Dennis's. We did a Zoom, and I taught him how to edit videos, because he's making, him and another friend is going to make a book-oriented Masonic podcast. And so I was helping them out. I mean, it's growing. That's the thing. It's not just one or two people. It's growing. I mean, originally you just had the Masonic, the Fort Worth podcast, and that's part of what inspired me to go into podcasting. And now you had us, and then you have Brother Fluff, who's doing his thing still, and now you got this other podcast coming up. There's numerous other Masonic podcasts all around the country. Like if you just type in Masonic podcasts in Spotify, it's an increasing number. It's not decreasing. So as opposed to 20 years ago when you were looking to, find a website. So it's come a long way, and it's just going to keep doing so.
What's really interesting is that the negativity that you may feel that we talk about our grand jurisdiction sometimes, the disheartening things that we come across. The sad thing is that we're not the only ones watching.
Mm-hmm.
These other podcasts out there, They're watching, and they're reporting on what's going on in Texas. There's people all over the world that are affected by this. The brothers in France were asking just this past weekend about what the heck is going on in Texas. The brothers in France, the brothers in England, they're all asking, what the heck is Texas doing?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
That's a scary thing because that's today's world.
Where'd you hear about the France
Everybody
stuff?
already knows. Huh?
Where'd you hear about the France stuff?
Kadeem was there.
Oh, so okay. That's what I suspected.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're asking about it. Yeah. Someone else was talking about. Oh, when we had Mills Marshall on, Roberto Sanchez, he was saying when he travels overseas, people are asking about it, like in Germany and stuff.
Yeah. Well, he was in Mexico all weekend and making the rounds with all the different organizations in Mexico. And guess what? Conversations were. You know it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they were.
We made ourselves that we're the laughing stock of the international Masonic community. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I had somebody on the Book of Faces. I had somebody complain that this was being broadcast on social media. And I asked the guy, "Are you the brother?" I asked him in that thread. I said, "Is that what you're concerned with? You're not concerned about all the actions that are happening that are causing people to talk about this stuff? You're really going to blame social media for the current state that we're in Texas Freemasonry?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?"
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, I was just like, dude, if you're worried about promoting, was it that one you're talking about where he's talking about it's hard not to promote Freemasonry without all the social media stuff?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Number
dude,
one, we shouldn't have to promote Freemasonry.
Yeah. If it's hard to promote Freemasonry, it's because of what you're doing at your lodge. It's not because of social media. I'm just sorry. I mean, yeah, I agree. I said that. I said in parentheses, if it even needs promoting, which I agree. I think it should. I think the things we do should promote itself, right? If that makes sense. But this idea that we need to like promote, the thought that we need to do things to promote is antiquated, I believe. But yeah, I mean, if
it's against what our lessons are.
Yeah.
If our lessons are to follow the light of all these books of faith say in some way or another that your right hand should not know what the left hand is doing.
Mm-hmm.
But yet here we are borrowing from somebody else, giving that money to somebody else, and saying we're doing all this charity work.
Yeah.
Yes.
While our buildings are
I'm so proud
around us. Yeah.
I'm so proud.
So proud. While our dues are dirt cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm on a terror tonight. I got to slow down.
You're good.
Maybe I need some scotch.
If anything, you need to speed up. James Lineweber says he's been contacted by a few from outside our jurisdiction who have been asking what's going on here. They say they're embarrassed for us. I'm embarrassed for us.
Yes.
I'm embarrassed. I think if I was traveling overseas, I'd probably tell them I'm from New Mexico or something.
Well, I happen to have plural membership, so I could. Yes,
yeah.
That's for sure.
I'm working on it.
Or even Latin America, or even Mexico.
Yeah. Oh, you are from. You do have a Mexican membership, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's smart, especially with today's environment. Yeah, it's crazy that so many think it's our sole purpose. I agree, Scott. There's a lot of lodges, and I've heard this before, because the resolution about the minutes. I've said before, we need to find a way to. There's no point in talking for 20 minutes about our minutes, and there's no point in talking every meeting about fundraising. And people have said, well, what are we supposed to do then? People have asked me that. Well, if we don't talk about minutes and don't fundraise, what are we supposed to do? It's like, I don't know, maybe actually practice Freemasonry. Actually grow as men, learn from one another, have some kind of education presentation. Yeah, if you tell them otherwise, or tell them the aim and purpose of Masonry from the monitor they want to take off your head. Yeah. Well, the Monitor is a book, and that requires reading, and that goes back to the members versus Masons thing we were talking about.
I brought that up in that talk that I had, and I didn't write it down, and I should have. So I'll try to remember what I wrote, and I'll send that as well to you, Brother Lawson. But one of the things that I had asked was if anybody could tell me what this certain thing represented, and I looked at everybody around the room. I said, "Well, it's in the Monitor." And it's not the words that you memorized when you were explaining what you were doing. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of just a aha moment that, people don't read the Monitor. People don't read about the crap that we're in. And this was an entered apprentice thing too. Mm-hmm. It's an entered apprentice thing.
Well, words are hard.
But one of the things that oh shoot! Go ahead. I need to get back to that thought.
Sure. Trenton
I got sidetracked.
In New Jersey. Oh, but he also mentioned earlier that per capita in New Jersey is like $75. But he also says they send us the minutes the night before. When it comes time, they ask if there's anything that needs to be changed. If not, we accept them and move on. Yeah, I agree. I think anything you can do to, and I agree. Like we had the resolution round table, and Brother Kohanke, said it's important that you actually are approving these things so that they go in correctly. But I disagree with that, with the pretense that we have to sit through it. Right? I can read it. People that aren't going to listen aren't going to listen. People that aren't going to read aren't going to read. Just let us read over it and just actually focus on Masonry at the meeting. But that's just my thoughts.
Well, I have my hand up.
I didn't see it. No,
aren't you paying attention?
No, because I'm looking at YouTube. I'm sorry.
I got back to that thought that I had. We had an interview with Right Worshipful Steve Omiger, mm-hmm. the Deputy Grand Master of New Mexico, and he's one of our dear friends, and I can't wait to go watch him be installed this year and share the moment with Most Worshipful Shank and Right Worshipful Omiger in this particular annual communication.
When is that?
Can't wait.
When is that?
It's in March.
Okay.
I may be coming up to your Scottish Rite the weekend before, as a matter of fact.
Okay, that'll work out.
It's the weekend of the 16th. Yes, I'm possibly coming up and helping with the 21st degree with Brother Mike King, one of my favorite people in the world.
Is there another valley?
But anyway,
like another reunion?
Do what?
Is there another reunion going on, or?
Yeah. He's the degree master for the 21st.
Oh, cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you so much. Keep going.
No, that's cool. But anyways, let me get back to what my thing was. So when we talked to Steve, his big thing has always been we need to bring back the mysticism in Freemasonry, which is true. And everybody's so busy trying to promote, they've watered down that mysticism. Now, let me ask what's going to make more of an impact to a community. If you do fish fries and take their money and say that you're donating it in your name, is that going to create a bigger aha moment for them? Or is it going to be them seeing 30 men in dark black suits walking around the corner going to this one meeting and not telling anybody what they're doing, or going to the pub right after and having refreshments right after the meeting together? One of the things that I get every time I go to the post office, because I always go right before I'm going to a meeting, I always have my suit on, and the girl there says, "You look so good. You always come dressed to the hilt." And I tell her, I've got a meeting. I've got a charity event for the Scottish Rite. We're raising a lot of money for these kids, and I'm breaking out the checkbook. And those are the kind of things that I pass on to people. I don't tell people I don't ask people to buy it from me. I tell them I'm going to write a check. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not gonna ask you to buy $100 worth of tickets. I'm going to give $100 to that charity.
Yep.
But the that we look when we care
You just got really choppy.
to
Could you repeat that last
we look,
sentence you just said?
the way we look, yes, the way we look, the way we carry ourselves, and what we do, all the things that, yeah, my connection's getting unstable for some reason. All those things make a difference to the community. They're watching. They're always watching.
Hmm.
You don't know that they are, but they're always watching. When we show up after lodge and we go to the place across the the street to eat dinner all together, they're watching. So why do we need to advertise ourselves if we get back to the mysticism and don't water down our lessons and our teachings by broadcasting them to the world? Why don't we just get back to the basics? Get back to the basics. That's the tradition we ought to be holding on to.
Yeah. Well, by going back to the basics, I'll just be honest. I'm always honest. I try to be, but I'm gonna be frank. We'll put it this way. I've seen a lot of different kinds of leadership because I've been a Mason almost 20 years, and so I can't you can't really compare Masonic leadership to like Lions Club or something. It's a totally different organization. It's run differently. But that said, when the worship master focuses on providing value, the lodge room fills up. Right? It gets visitors.
Yep.
And people come back. They start attending again. But once you have someone that's not providing value, the meetings have no rhyme or reason. There's drama, and you spend 2 hours accomplishing nothing. People stop coming really quickly. But if the worship master has an agenda, knows what's going to be discussed, has a plan for what's going to be discussed, has a program for that evening, and they're consistent about it, and they can open and close the lodge, I'm not saying perfectly, but efficiently,
Pretty close.
pretty close, it makes all the difference in the world. And I've seen this. We've all have seen this. We might not realize it, but you'll have a year we have a worship master, and they're on the ball. They have programs. They open and close on time. They open and close well. They know what's going to happen. They move through the agenda quickly and efficiently. They control the side talk and the conversation so that you stay on track, and you leave in about an hour, about 45 minutes to an hour. That it really shouldn't take much longer than that, and most of that should be education. If you're doing that consistently, people will start showing up. People will be
Yeah,
interested
20
because they're
minutes,
getting value
20 to 30 minutes. Yeah, 20 to 30 minutes should be education.
and a good meal. And a good meal. Yeah, I agree. 20, 30 minutes is good. And a good meal. But when you're the day before asking for volunteers to bring hot dogs and you don't have anything planned, that's when your lodge is falling apart. So if you go to lodge and you're not excited about the lodge, you're not excited about your meetings, and you're really wondering what your lodge is missing, that's what it is. And this should be no revelation to anybody, because this is stuff that we talk about on a regular basis. But seeing it actually in action as opposed to hearing about it is two different things. And these aren't really hard
It's a
things.
lot of why we join.
Yeah, it's not hard things to implement. A lot of this, if you're sending your officers officer leadership training, they'll learn about this kind of thing. The importance of agendas, the importance of having your why, your visions, and all this stuff. This is all stuff that they learn as they go through it. It's a matter of
Oh yeah.
it's a matter of putting the work in, your leadership putting the work in, being proactive versus reactive. Reactive lodges are zombie lodges, they're dying. Proactive lodges are ahead of the game and they're successful. And being proactive versus reactive, it's not a whole lot more work. You're still putting the same amount of work in, but you're doing it well beforehand instead of in reaction to things that are coming up. In fact, I'd
Right.
say being proactive is less work, because I mean it's upfront work, which a lot of people like to put off the work, but it's upfront work. But that upfront work saves you a lot of trouble down the road because everybody knows what to expect.
Well, and once you get used to it, it's just like putting on a suit. Once you get used to it, I can put on my suit and bow tie, and I tie my own bow ties. I don't have cheap ones. I can do all that in the same amount of time that it takes you to put on blue jeans and a Wrangler shirt.
Mhm.
once you do it enough, it's just becomes second nature.
Yeah,
And so it's not difficult at all.
in fact, when I'm putting on a tie, like a regular tie, I don't do it. Bow ties are totally for a monster for me, but a regular tie, if I'm thinking about what I'm doing, I jack it up every time. Right, I have to undo it and stop thinking, just let my hands do what they know, and then I got a tie. But
Yeah.
if I'm thinking about it, it doesn't work.
Go back to Boy Scout.
Yeah,
Go back to Boy
I gotta
Scout.
let the muscle memory do it. So yeah, I mean,
Right.
yeah. I remember when I first started wearing suits, it's like, man, this is a lot. But then after a while, it's just like you just throw it on. You're like, oh, I guess I'm already ready to go. No big deal.
Right. Another thing that I would like to bring up is because you did touch on it, the ritual. Tell me that if you do a damn good job with that ritual and make the impact on that candidate that should be made, tell me that that candidate isn't going to talk to 10 people in their circle and tell them what just went through. And he's not going to give away the secrets, but
Yeah.
he's going to tell them that it was one of the most awesome experiences he ever had. That's how you get good Masons, is because, and that's also how you get bad Masons, because
Yeah.
it happens. So
But
because the people that join get excited, they tell their friends. It's just like with church or anything else. They tell their friends want to be excited. Everybody wants to be a part of this cool thing,
Mhm.
and that's when they start joining.
well, I think
So
also we need to clarify when these new guys come in, the education that comes up front, because we talk a lot about like, hey, I think a lot of new people are afraid to talk, right? And so while they're new and excited, we need to say, hey, look, so like what we talk about out here in the dining room, and let's use common sense, but like the stuff that we talk about it here, it's you don't talk about anything that happens during degrees, right? You just clarify, like you can talk about the stuff we do at lodge, but don't talk about things we do at the degrees. Don't talk about any of the memory work or anything like that. That way, when they
right,
come and say, "Hey, I'm really excited that I have to get a suit because I got all these guys. We have really good meals and we talk about all these awesome things." These are all stuff that you can. I mean, especially while you're new and excited, these are all things you can talk about to people with. But it goes down to that oh gosh, what's the word? The education that they get up front. I don't know what kind of education I was going to say, but like the I don't know. Before they even turn in their petition, like we should be teaching them, like, hey, this is how we do things. This is how we run. This is the kind of things we can talk about and so
lodge
forth.
etiquette.
Lodge
Lodge
etiquette. Yeah,
etiquette.
there we
Yeah.
go. There we go.
Yeah.
James says, how did Dennis like how we? He's from Neshwasher. How did Dennis like how we had our education meeting? They opened the
I
Master Masons
loved it.
Lodge, called refreshment, went downstairs for education and fellowship. I like that.
That was awesome. That
Uh,
was awesome. And it was so just like at Zerny this past weekend. I couldn't have asked for a more warm and inviting atmosphere to be in. It was awesome.
so
I
what
think
did they?
that lodges. I think more lodges should go to lodges like you guys and take notes on what's going on.
When did they call it refreshment?
After they did the minutes,
Hmm.
it was right at new business, I believe, and I was first up for new business, so that they called refreshment at that time. Went down, we gave the talk, excellent talk, and we went back up and basically just and they didn't have a whole lot of business to talk about. They just boom, 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 and we were gone,
Yeah.
and everybody was on the front porch smoking cigars after that.
That's what they did at Waco when I went and talked there. They called refreshment. It was nice because I could move around. I like to walk and talk. The teacher and me, I like to move as I'm teaching. And everyone just kind of moved to one side where they're all in a group, and I just moved around
Right, and
and talked.
everybody's closer together. It's easier to have that conversation and have fun with it. I
Hmm.
mean, it was. I had to tell the DDGM that he can't talk about what I talk about to anybody. No, he had fun. He enjoyed it. I think everybody.
I like it. That's awesome.
But that's what, yeah, that's what's helping Freemasonry is people just thinking outside of the box. Why do you have to do it inside the lodge room when everybody's on all four corners of the lodge and halfway paying attention, kind of uncomfortable because they're in those chairs and they've been there for a while? Yeah, shake it up, run downstairs, get the juices flowing, run downstairs and give a good talk and drink and beverages while you're in. It wasn't alcohol, but
Mm-hmm.
drink beverages or whatever while you're talking, and then run back upstairs and close it out.
Yeah.
Man, it was awesome. I love that idea.
Or if a certain resolution passes this year, you could bump your meeting time up an hour.
Tell me.
Just have the
Woo!
meeting, and then afterwards have your meal with your presenter, and then you can have a drink while you're listening and talking. Imagine that.
Shoot, I say go to refreshment and drink some scotch, and then go back to lodge and close.
Well, I think the resolution said it had to be you can't have anything to drink like 2 hours before the meeting or something like that.
Oh,
So that's
really?
yeah, I think it was something like that. That's why I say do it after.
Uh,
Just bump your meeting and now that's not to
wah,
stop you.
wah,
Like
wah.
you could do whatever before, but I'm talking about like on large property.
I'm gonna
Like
have
if
to
they would
make an
have
amendment to that one.
it.
No, I'm leaving that one alone. I hope that nobody makes any.
Well, it's the same
Let's just
people.
get it
What's
done.
funny to me? It's the same people that want us to be like this service organization. As soon as you start talking about alcohol, they act like what we're doing is so important that you can't have a drink before you sit down and talk about your fundraiser, about
Right.
your fish fry, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You shouldn't be drinking beer with your fish.
Yeah. There's nothing esoteric in here. We're not talking about anything important, but you can't have anything to drink before you sit and lodge because it's too important.
Yeah.
Make up your mind. Make up your mind.
Yeah. Right.
But
That's so
the
funny.
best esoteric conversations I ever had was with a drink or two outside the lodge.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
And so there's no reason like this idea, and I've heard it said before that Freemasonry and alcohol don't mix is bollocks, and it's often by the same people that serve alcohol in their organizations. So
Right.
don't tell me Freemasonry and alcohol don't mix because my best Freemasonry has been in pubs and bars and things
You
like
know,
that.
most of the people that I socialize with either drink scotch or wine. Two of them drink rum, and they're the odd man out. But when we do that, we're not just downing our drinks; we're sipping it. You know,
Yeah.
I always get a glass of scotch, and I just sip it for an hour, man.
By the way,
I just sip it and talk.
have you heard? I haven't tried it yet, but it's called the Nectar of the Gods. Have you heard of that?
I have heard of it.
Do you know what's in it?
I haven't tried it. No,
Okay,
I haven't tried it.
it's red
I'm not into
wine.
that fruit. I'm not into that frou stuff.
It's red wine and root beer, and it's supposed to be like amazing.
Oh,
It doesn't sound
oh.
good. It doesn't sound good, but it's supposed to be amazing. So,
That's obviously coming from somebody who doesn't buy $200 bottles of wine. That's for sure.
dude, no, the guy I watched, he went and got it
When you
from.
have to put root beer, when you have to put root beer in your Mad Dog 2020 so you can get it down. That,
Well, that's not why.
oh
That's
man,
like
that's so
antifreeze
funny.
out of your car. That's not why.
I know. I know. Oh man, that's funny. But yeah, I'd like to. I'll take a sip if it shows itself. But
Mhm.
don't use an expensive bottle of wine on that for me. I'd rather have the real
No,
deal.
the dude I watched, he bought it like it was like some cheap stuff, like Walmart wine or something like that. And
Right.
you did like
He,
half
he
the
bought
glass
a
of
he bought a carton. He
half the
didn't buy
glass of red
a
wine,
bottle. He,
and then half a root beer, like Mark's root beer, and mix it up. It's
yes.
supposed to be really good. I don't know. We'll see.
But
I'll try it one
he
day.
buys the fine. He finds the fine boxes.
The finest boxes of
The
wine.
finest boxes of wine.
The finest off-brand.
Man, I
root beers.
remember. Yes, I remember that from the '80s. Oh my gosh. My parents one time we went down to we took a trip to Austin and they had some friends with them. Back then it was okay to ride in the back of a pickup and all that kind of stuff. So all the kids were crammed into the back of the pickup. Well, after they had a few glasses of wine, the moms were in the back with us and they had like one of those big jugs with the one little finger thing, almost like you would use for moonshine, going like this. Now they weren't doing that, but they had glass, but that's the kind of wine it was. It was like homemade, whatever.
Mm.
North Texas, the North Texas backwoods. Oh my goodness, the things I remember. Only the good stuff.
Do you know? Never mind. Let me respond to this real quick. Oh, you can keep talking.
No, I was looking at something. Chris Williams just texted me, and I will get back with him after our show.
Yeah, put that. David says
I'm
put
gonna
that.
I'm gonna start texting him when he starts his show. Do
David
what?
says put that in Dennis's flasks. The nectar of the gods.
Oh my God! Actually, I am thinking of finding a sponsor to donate some type of liquid to put in those flasks. As I sell my flasks, someone else would donate something for the flask. So we would have a great time in Wakefield.
Nice. All right. Well, we got about 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and start our wrap up process. I do
Are
want
you
to
kidding?
no, no. I do want to say I did share a link in the chat for the membership. So if you, I mean, we got a lot of people that are members on here, but if you're watching our videos regularly, they're all ad free if you remember, and it also gives you access to members only, like inner circle activities, like the one we're going to do in January. We're going to do the inner circle dinner. We're talking about doing a what's the word? Man, I cannot think of words this evening.
A retreat.
Retreat. Yes, we're looking at doing a retreat next year for inner circle, and I'm sure there'll be other things to come. So definitely check out that link if that's something that appeals to you.
And
Because there's lots of value in that.
Yeah, and just so that you know, it's not that we're going to pay for all of that with the memberships, because we don't get enough from the memberships to pay for all that.
Mm-hmm.
We might be able to, a full year of all the memberships we have right now might pay for one of our dinners.
Yeah.
At the dinner that we're having. So,
yeah.
But it gets you a ticket, basically. It gets you a ticket to join us and all the other brothers that are like-minded with you in Freemasonry, and yeah, it's always a good time.
Yeah, inner circle.
We're gonna have dinner.
Inner circle means that I get value out of what Justin says, and sometimes what Dennis says, and I would like to support.
I would like to
hear
more from Dennis.
I would like to
hear more from Dennis in person, and because Justin just takes over too much.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, the inner circle, the memberships, they help support paying for like the website and the other things that we just the subscription based stuff we have to have and upgrade our equipment and things.
Yeah, we need to upgrade the equipment bad. That's for sure.
Yeah, especially after talking to Nagy with his drop mic or whatever.
I know, man. Somebody donated. Somebody gave him that freaking couple $100 microphone set up. It's, golly.
Yeah.
Our members just give us a hard time.
Well, no, we have lots of very supportive members, and we appreciate that.
No, we do. We do. We love them.
But just we want to keep growing, we want to keep moving forward, but that does take money. Like, we would like to upgrade our stuff more and just keep growing the show. So anything.
Well, and not just that, but the events that come up, it's basically us that are putting our money forward to make it happen, mm-hmm. and we don't always pay back for it. So that can help with that, because we plan on having more summits as well.
Yeah. And
that wasn't done with money from this show. That was our money that went into that to happen. So.
Yeah, David Lawson says, is the new website up? It is not up yet. Zach is still working on that. So it's a process. It's not up yet though.
Yeah, he's been extremely busy lately. I finally got a hold of him today and talked to him a little bit, and he's been extremely busy lately, tied up. But it is in the works.
Yeah, I figured that's what was going on. I was thinking about him earlier, so that makes sense. But anyway, you got any final thoughts, Dennis?
I do. You know that old saying that, you get out of it what you put into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a cop-out for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do think that when you take ownership and you start being intentional with your Freemason, and you start being a mentor to others, it forces you to step up your game so that you can do so. The whole reason that I write each program for each lodge individually is because it forces me to have to learn more of myself. I have to look deeper into my own journey so that I can present to our brothers. So consider that when you're in your lodges and you start getting a little headway doing what a lot of people are doing, bringing in education and stuff like that. And don't just rely on outside speakers, but also get the members involved to do the same thing. And no, it's not going to be perfect or the same quality as somebody that does it every weekend, but your membership will start to become more educated. Your membership will start to appreciate what they're going through and what they're doing because they're going to be excited to hear what you said. After they just gave their talk, they'll be excited to hear what you said.
Mm-hmm.
So that, it's back and forth. The very first thing I started out with that presentation this past weekend at Zerny was that I challenged everyone to change my mind. And I only do that because I'm willing to change, because I want to educate myself and I want to be a better person than I am today. If you can convince me that what you think is a better idea than what I think, it's not going to change how I came to those conclusions or whatever. It doesn't change any of that. It doesn't make me look stupid because I thought one way. We all have different experiences. We all think differently, so we're going to learn differently. But it does show a maturity in ourselves and in our fraternity when we're willing to look at the education that's available to us and make different decisions today than we did yesterday based on the new information that we have. So think about that when you go to the world. It's not just about hearing Justin and I talk about our shenanigans. It's see, I would not trust that guy. I don't do the little finger things like that. That's not texting. This is texting. But anyways, so it's not just about listening to us. It's about taking it to your lodge.
Yeah.
Find your people. Develop your people. That's what it takes a lot of times. It's not getting out of it what you put into it, as in just doing what everybody says. Put in intentional steps to develop your people, the ones that you really just feel right at home with. Mm-hmm. Develop those people into that kind of a circle. And then it just grows from there, because each person in that circle has another circle somewhere. And some of those people will trickle in to get to know you. And then your circle expands. And that's how you really get the beauty of Freemasonry, because we are recognized and accepted all over the world as Master Masons. And as we build our circles, we get opportunities to go into different grand jurisdictions. And, golly, I've got invitations to Mississippi, Arkansas, New Mexico, Washington State, and Mexico just in the beginning of next year. In the first 4 months of next year, I've got invitations to go to all those different places. And why? Because my circle has expanded by developing the friendships and the brotherly love and affection between brothers.
Hey, keep talking. I'll be right back. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, I can do that. So when you listen to us, don't always take just the negative things that we talk about. We do have a lot of confusion in the temple right now in Texas. We do. But there's a lot of really good stuff going on in Texas too. And that's why we have so much confusion, because it's scary to them, because we are becoming educated. We are coming into our own. You brothers out there are coming into your own, and they know it, and they're concerned with that. So what we have to do is not gang up on them or create factions within our lodges, but what we do is we develop a brotherhood that makes them excited to be a part of it. And that happens in the lodge. It's not going to happen in Grand Lodge. Those guys are already doing their thing. They're already, They've already drank their own Kool-Aid. So it's not going to happen there necessarily. So do it in your lodge, be intentional. Give that brotherly love and affection to that brother that deserves. Aid in his reformation. We don't just talk trash about people. I don't care what happens in this Grand Lodge. If whoever has created the biggest waves, if they want to be a part of a better experience, I will aid them in that reformation. I will. I'm not against that because that's what our charge is. Our charge isn't to put everybody's feet to the fire and kick them the fuck out if we don't. Oh, whoops, we might have to bleep that.
Dan, you can't bleep it. It's live.
And kick them out. You don't kick them out because they did something that you didn't like. We're here to aid in the reformation. So anyone that offends me, if they come to me and say, look, man, I wasn't trying to offend you. I just believe this way. If they do that, I am happy to take them hand in hand, arm in arm, as a brother, and aid in their reformation. And I hope they're willing to do the same with me. Yep. Because that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're not always going to be on the same page. We're not trying to be same-minded. That's impossible. We're trying to be like-minded. Because same-minded means we had all the same experiences getting to where we are today in our journey. And that didn't happen to any of us. Yep. We all went through the first degree, but we did not have the same experience as each other. Not only that, but we didn't have all the experiences in life that caused a certain impression to us when we got that degree. Think about that. So in all reality, we're going to have our differences. So we have to be willing to aid in reformation. We have to be willing. We can't just condemn each other. We have to be willing to help each other out of the hole that we dig ourselves into. I do it myself. I tell everybody that my circle of friends is my bubble wrap because I can get myself into big trouble real quick. They're my bubble wrap. And I need that. And if my brother needs that, he's got that for me. And he knows it. Every one of my circle knows that without a doubt, I have their back and there's nothing I won't do for my brother.
Wise words, Dennis. Wise words. Well done.
You didn't even hear the half of it. You just want to go to bed.
James Lineweber, brother Lineweber. I'm sorry about butchering your name. He joined the inner circle. He's a supporter now. So thank you. Welcome aboard, James. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate the support. I was thinking as you were talking about the presentations, I was like, we should just make it like an ideally in a lodge where you just say, hey, look, we're going to start just rotating presentations. But you always got someone who's just going to back out, right? But then I was thinking, when someone, we've already discussed, when someone is going through the degree process, that ideally they should be given presentations, right? Sure, you turn in your work, but also give a presentation over something you learned. But then I was thinking, when someone wants to affiliate with your lodge, if you really want them to know what your lodge is about, have them turn in your work before they can affiliate. Like, have them turn in a presentation. Have them come and give a presentation. Because
that's a good idea.
If they're not into that, why are you coming, man? All right? If you're not going to enjoy education and provide education, then this is not the place for you. So right. I was just saying that's a good idea. That's a great idea.
We got to find our lodges. They're not all the same, and sometimes you have to travel to get your Freemason. I travel all the time to get my Freemason. It's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
Another thing I'd like to mention about education is something that they do in New Mexico, which I've seen more and more lodges in Texas putting up big screen TVs, especially at this time of the year because they're cheap. Mm-hmm. So they're putting up big screen TVs in their lodge. Why not break to a refreshment in the middle of your lodge, turn on your TV and let somebody give you a Zoom presentation through for your lodge, and then go back to closing the lodge after the Zoom presentation.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the law book that says you can't do that.
Yeah.
So that's a very good way. If you're all the way up at Faith Lodge in Wichita Falls and you want to hear from me sooner than when I can get up there, then just let me know, man. Let's work that out. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I would be happy to do that with any lodge around the state. Well, around the world, I'd be happy to do it.
That's also part of the reason that I, when I originally created YouTube videos, was originally for brothers to say you want to do like you're saying, you play a video, it's a 5-minute piece of education, and you can go back to your lodge. And that's also further down while we did the inner circle, so that if you want to just share education from the YouTube channel without the ads or anything, then boom, there it is. You just sit down, play it, go back and do your thing. I would even say even the stuff we talk about, just play like 20 minutes of it or whatever. And they move. Maybe not what the Dennis's profanity. That might not make it inappropriate in some cases, but there is
Right.
lots of education to be gleaned from
You don't want
YouTube.
to show like this, like a live. You don't want that presenting to your lodge. I'll piss them all off and they'll go home.
But we do have lots of
You'll see
interviews. We do have lots of interviews. You can say we're going to play half of it, and then we'll play half of it another time or something. I don't know. But there are much shorter pieces of content on the channel also that you could use. Just saying. But then,
Right.
yeah, I mean, if you want, I'd be happy to Zoom. I mean, Dennis says he's up for it. I'd be happy to Zoom. I mean, we're Zooming right now. I Zoom all the time. So I'd be happy to.
Yeah, I actually missed one that I really wanted to go to tonight that I forgot about. At 7 p.m., there was a Zoom teaching about the 17th degree from St. Louis.
Mm.
And I happen to be, friends with the brothers in St. Louis. And so they send me the link. And so I can jump in on that education. There's
Nice.
lots of it going on around the country. And it's available to you. Like tomorrow night, at our Scottish Rite, we have a Zoom. It's like a book club. We're doing the secret teachings of all ages, and tomorrow night is the talk on the chapter of the month. We do one chapter a month, and we open that up to all Master Masons because it is a book club. It's not just Scottish Rite. We open it up to all Master Masons that can prove that they're members in Freemasonry, and then y'all can join in and read and get on the email list. That's happening all over the country. All over the country.
Yeah.
There's no reason to not get the kind of education that you're looking for, because people like us and those we know are providing it. They want to help everybody to get the education that they're looking for.
Yeah, I'd like to get in on that, but I have meeting nights. So unfortunately, I've never been able to
Well,
attend that.
we've got our installation for York Rite tomorrow night, so I won't be there. That's York Commandery is on that night for me, so I haven't been able to be lately. But
Well,
I will always promote it because it's one of my favorite things that we do.
Yeah, I have Dallas, Scottish Rite, and a lodge that meets that day. So I have to alternate as it is. So, unfortunately. Yeah, I would like to go to that. All right, man. I don't have anything else unless you have something else you want to add before we wrap up. Blah, 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 blah.
Keep coming back.
Yeah.
We do this for you. It's not for us. We're not ego-driven. We can be arrogant sometimes, but we're not ego-driven. We do it because we love you. We do it because we love you. We do it because we love our fraternity. We do it because it's our duty to our brothers to help, aid, and assist.
I don't have any ego. I'm extraordinarily humble, Dennis.
Yeah, you need to stand up in front of the altar. You need to stand up in front of the altar and say that. I'm not going to be in the room.
Man,
But no, that's in all reality. We do this because of you. Your support gets us engaged, and we're grateful. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't even do this. We can have our Freemasonry. We have really good Freemasonry, but we want you to have that Freemasonry too. So if you're not getting it, stay tuned. Reach out. We'll try to help you get there.
Keep it between the points.
And yes, Brother Lawson, I will send you that here in just a few minutes. Message me and oh wait, I think I've got your email already. So yeah, as far as that goes, keep it between the points.
Keep between the points.
Yeah,
Later.
real Masons know what I'm talking about. They don't know what